Parikshit, the grandson of Arjuna, the hero in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's friend and disciple. Maharaj Parikshit, as many of you may have heard, had been cursed to die within 7 days. He was cursed to die. Can you imagine that? What a calamity from the material point of view. We could say somebody is cursed to die within 7 days. Nobody wants to die. But King Parikshit was such a great Raja Rishi, great saintly king, that he had no problem in renouncing the world and accepting the curse as Krishna's will. And he went to the bank of the Ganges River to fast until death. And there he was surrounded by the great sages. Many great sages came from the Himalayas, from, Bhagavatam says, not only from this planet, but even from other planets. They came to be present during the last days of the king. And among those sages, the great sage Sri Shukadeva Goswami, the best among the sages, appeared and answered the questions of King Parikshit. The sixth question of Parikshit Maharaj was, what is the duty of a human being? What is the duty of a human being? And particularly, what is the duty of the human being who is about to die? And who is that human being? Can you think of who is that human being who is about to die? Was Parikshit, but also is all of us. Because our bodies are perishable, isn't it? Our bodies are going to die. It may take 70 years, may take 17 years, 7 years, 7 months, 7 weeks, 7 days, 7 hours, we do not know. King Parikshit, he knew. He was warned, but we don't know. We know we will die sooner or later. And then Shukadeva Goswami answered to that question, gave the answer, and encouraged the king to sing Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, to chant, sing, hear, and remember God, remember Krishna, particularly Srimad Bhagavatam. Then Shukadeva Goswami recited for 7 days Srimad Bhagavatam. And Parikshit Maharaj was able to listen attentively, fasting until death for 7 days. 7 days, 7 nights. And at some point, Shukadeva Goswami told him, I can stop, let's stop, have a break. And then Parikshit Maharaj said, no, please do not stop. Because by hearing Krishna Lila, Krishna's pastimes, my heart has become satisfied. So much so that I have forgotten my thirst and my hunger. And I'm becoming free from fear, from death. So Shukadeva Goswami recited Srimad Bhagavatam to King Parikshit. Many sages were present, and then later on there was a sage named Sutta, Ugrashrava Sutta, Sutta Goswami. He's the son of Romaharshan Sutta. They were present during Shukadeva Goswami's recitation of Bhagavatam. And then later on, Sutta Goswami recited again the Bhagavatam to the sages of Naimisaranya forest. Any of you from Lucknow? Anyone here from the Lucknow area in India? Very near is Naimisaranya. Naimisaranya is the forest where Bhagavatam was recited by Sutta Goswami to the sages of that forest. It is considered, according to the Vayavya Tantra, is the hub of the universe. It's a very mystical place, very powerful place. So Bhagavatam was recited there. The sages had assembled at that place to perform a yajna, a sacrifice, for the age of Kali, for the benefit of the people of this age, for the benefit of we people. And what happened is that they were lighting the fire, but somehow the Havan was not producing the desired result. They said their bodies were blackened by the smoke. And then they asked Shukadeva Goswami, what should we do? Was Sutta Goswami. They asked Sutta, what should we do? And the Sutta Goswami said that we should recite Bhagavatam. I'll tell you Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is the sacrifice for the age of Kali. Because Bhagavatam gives humanity the message to become transcendental to the age of Kali. Whatever detrimental influences we experience in the age of Kali, we can transcend through Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srimad Bhagavatam describes the transcendental activities of Sri Krishna. Bhagavatam establishes Sri Krishna as Bhagavan, God. And now we will, I'll show you some slides with some relevant points to today's discussion on Bhagavatam. I'm reciting Bhagavatam following ISKCON's founder Acharya, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who brought the teachings of Krishna to the West in the mid-60s. He traveled in this ship. You can see in the back there is a ship, Jaladuta. Prabhupada traveled from India to America by ship without money in 1965. And he arrived at New York. And in New York, he started the Krishna movement and established 108 temples all over the world. So Prabhupada translated, he was almost no sleeping at night for translating Srimad Bhagavatam from Sanskrit to English. And later on, Bhagavatam, following Prabhupada's instruction, Bhagavatam was translated into more than 50 languages. So our explanations of Bhagavatam are based on Srila Prabhupada, following the Sampradaya, the Guru Parampara system. This Guru Parampara system is coming from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, also known as the Golden Avatar. Some of you may be familiar with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's especially famous in Orissa and Bengal, but also in Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, all the temples in Vrindavan were established. Most of the temples, not all, but most of the temples were established by the Goswamis of Vrindavan, who were disciples of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicted that in every town and village of the world, the holy name of Krishna will be sung. And he asked to every Indian, he said that those born in Bharat Bhumi in India are born there due to their punya, their previous pious activities. They are born in the land of Dharma. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested, please spread the message of Krishna to everyone, for the benefit of everyone you meet. These were the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also propagated the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna's teachings. This is the translation of a very beautiful Sanskrit verse by Sri Rupa Goswami, because the Bhagavatam shows us how to perform Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord, Krishna's holy name. And Rupa Goswami recited this verse as it is translated into English. I do not know how much nectar the two syllables Krishna have produced. When the holy name of Krishna is chanted, it appears to dance within the mouth. Within the desire, many, many mouths. When that name enters the holes of the ears, we desire many millions of ears. And when the holy name dances in the courtyard of the heart, it conquers the activities of the mind, and therefore all the senses become inert. So this is an expression of a great teacher in ecstasy, chanting Krishna's holy names. Now, whatever we're going to discuss today is based on these primary Vedic sources, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 700 verses, as many of you are familiar with. Srimad Bhagavatam, 18,000 verses, and it has been published also in one book, in one volume, as Krishna book by Srila Prabhupada. And then also other sources describing Krishna Lila are found in Vishnu Purana, Harivamsa, and Mahabharata. When we approach Krishna's message, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna Lila, Krishna's divine play, we need to consider two aspects which are posted on the screen. We need to consider Tattva. Tattva refers to essential truth. What is the essence of Krishna's personality, of Krishna's divine position and divine activities? For example, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Janma karma chame divyam evam yovetti tatvata tyakva deham punarjanma naiti mameti swarjuna. Says that whoever remembers, whoever knows in tattva, in truth, the divine nature, divyam, of my janma, my birth, and my karma, my activities, that person, tyakva deham punarjanma, when death comes, does not take birth again in the material world, but goes back to Vaikuntha, to the transcendental world, to my eternal abode, Krishna says. So we need to understand Krishna Tattva. Krishna Tattva means he is completely beyond the material duality. We shouldn't think that when Krishna comes, Krishna karma is like the karma of a common living being. When Krishna comes to the material world, it's like when the king goes to the prison house to offer amnesty to the prisoners. The prisoner may think, oh, Krishna is like one of us. Isn't it? May think like that. Oh, this man is like me, an ordinary person. But actually the king is never a prisoner. When he visits the place of the prisoners, he is there to help them, to give, to offer a special blessing to them. So when Krishna comes for that purpose to this material world. Also in approaching Sri Krishna, we need to consider rasa, or divine personal relationship. Krishna has been described as, by Rupa Goswami, as Akila Rasamrita Murti. He is complete in all rasa or transcendental divine mellows or divine relationship. The term rasa is concerned with the personal eternal relationships devotees have with God, with Krishna. We may relate to God in Shantaras. Shantaras means very peaceful relationship, contemplative. Like in the Vedic mantras, we recite many times, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So peace, Shantaras. We may have a relationship with God in Dasyaras, saying God is the master, we are the servants. A liberated soul may have a relationship with God in Sakyaras, as a friend. Like Arjuna. Arjuna considered Krishna as his friend. Or in Vrindavan, the cowherd boys. They were playing with Krishna as if they were their friends, their colleagues, jumping on his shoulders, forgetting that Krishna is God. In a very relaxed mood. We may approach Krishna in Vatsalya Ras. Vatsalya Ras is like Yashoda Mai, Krishna's divine mother. She has a relationship with Krishna as the mother. And she thinks, if I don't feed the little Krishna, Krishna will suffer. Krishna will go hungry. And she chastises Krishna and tries to tie him by the belt, by the belly, with a little rope. So Yashoda Mai, in many ways, she's a Vatsalya Bhakta. Or the gopis in Vrindavan, they see Krishna in Madhurya Ras, in a conjugal relationship with him. They don't think he is God. They think he is my beloved. They are ready to do anything for Krishna. Even sacrificing the most precious dharma for God, for Krishna. So it's giving, therefore Krishna Bhagavad Gita says, Sarva dharmam parityajya mamekam sharanam praja. Abandon all dharma and just surrender unto me. The gopis, they surrender unto Krishna in Madhurya Ras. Of course, this shouldn't be misunderstood. Sometimes people who may have an improper mundane agenda may present themselves as God and then try to enjoy other people's wives. And this is totally against Dharma. This will be misusing the teachings of Bhagavatam to perform sinful activities. This should be totally rejected. Because Bhagavatam explains that when the gopis met with Krishna, their physical bodies were with their husbands. And they met with Krishna only, Shukadeva Goswami explains like that, only in their divine bodies. It was not mundane. It was in the transcendental dimension. Now here we have a verse from the beginning of Bhagavatam, which we can sing together. I'll sing the first line and then you can sing along. This is a verse from second chapter of Bhagavatam, which describes tattva. Vadanti tattva vidas tattvam jnanam advayam Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavan iti Shaptyate. It is translated in this way: learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. So Sri Krishna is non-different from the Paramatma, the super soul who lives within the body of every living being. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Ishvaro sarvabhutanam hrideshe arjuna tishtati brahmayam sarvabhutani yantra rudhani mayaya. Krishna says, I am the Ishvara, living within the heart of every living being, and I am directing the wanderings of all living beings. So today we have met here because Krishna is directing our wanderings. And I have the honor of being in your company today because Krishna arranged it. And also Krishna is the source of the divine effulgence of Brahman. Great yogis, which were written in the Upanishads, in the Vedanta Sutra, great sages search for merging within the divine effulgence of Brahman. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Brahmano hi pratishtaham. I am the source, pratishtha, of Brahman. And Arjuna has described Krishna in the Gita as Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram Paramam Bhavam. You are the Param Brahma, the Supreme Brahman. You are the Supreme Truth, the Supreme Abode, Pavitram, the Supreme Pure, Supreme Purifier. And therefore when we hear, we think about, and we remember Krishna, we become purified. All sin, all papa we get free from it by hearing, chanting, and remembering about Krishna. Then in chapter 3 of Bhagavatam, there is a description of many avatars or many incarnations of Krishna. Like here we have the boar incarnation, Varahadev, and the tortoise Kurma Avatara, Matsya Avatara, Kalki Avatara, Buddha Avatara. Then of course Sri Ram, the picture is not here, but is one of the main avatars of the Lord. And then Bhagavatam describes in this verse, which we can sing along, after describing all the Vishnus and all the different, a list of 22 incarnations of Krishna, of God. The Bhagavatam says that there are innumerable incarnations of God, avatars. Avatars, many of you are aware of, means he who descends. When God descends to this world, he is called Avatara. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Yada yada hi dharmasya granir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Krishna says, I come to reestablish Dharma. Whenever there is a decline of Dharma, I myself come. Paritramaya satunam vinashaya chadushkritam dharma samstapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So Krishna comes to eliminate evil and to reestablish virtue, to reestablish divine Dharma, Sanatana Dharma. So it is said that there are innumerable avatars, Bhagavatam says, as the rivulets entering into the sea, as little rivers and little rivers which go into the sea. So many avatars there are. God is unlimited, and He comes to reveal His divine glory and to reestablish Dharma. And then in this verse says that from all these avatars, Sri Krishna is described as the Svayam Bhagavan, or the source, or as Avatari, which means the source of all avatars. And we can sing the verse. It's a very famous verse from Bhagavatam. Ete chamcha kalak pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Svayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. The translation of the verse is, all of the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. But Lord Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. All of them appear on planets whenever there is a disturbance created by the atheist. The Lord incarnates to protect the theist. So now we're moving, of course, Bhagavatam is there are 12 cantos or 12 books of the Bhagavatam, and in books there are 10 themes described in Srimad Bhagavatam. In the beginning of the recitation of Sri Shukadeva Goswami, as we find at the end of the second canto of Bhagavatam, it is described, Atra sargo visargascha stanam poshanam uttayaha mamvantare shanukata nirodho mukti rashraya. There are 10 themes of the Bhagavatam. Sarga, creation, primary creation. Visarga, secondary creation. Stanam, the planetary systems. Poshanam, the protection of the Lord to His devotees. Utti, Uttaya, the desire of the living beings. Manvantara, the periods of the manus or the rulers of humanity. Ishanukata, the divine lila, the divine activities of God and His devotees. Harikata, Nirodha, the annihilation of the conditioning of the soul and the annihilation of the universe. Mukti, liberation of the self, and Ashraya, the supreme shelter, Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. And Sri Krishna is described throughout the Bhagavatam in the first 9 cantos, and different avatars of Krishna are described. We find descriptions of Parahavatara, Kapila Dev, Kurmavatara, Matsyavatara, Sri Ram, so many descriptions. Sri Nrisimhadev, it was Chaturdashi, actually it was day before yesterday, was the Chaturdashi, Sri Nrisimha Chaturdashi, the celebration of the appearance of the Lord, Sri Vishnu, in the form of half a lion, half human being, to protect his devotee Prahlad Maharaj, Bhakta Prahlad. So all these descriptions are given in the Bhagavatam up to the point of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where we find 90 chapters totally dedicated. The Bhagavatam has 335 chapters, from which 90 are Krishna Lila in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is the beginning of the 10th canto. Here we see when the Devatas approach this Svetatweep, the white island. There is a description in Puranic literature that there is some place in the universe where there is a white island where there is an ocean of milk. Nowadays in India it's very common. As materialism is growing, people are saying all this, how you can believe that there is an ocean of milk. Isn't it? Some mundane people may say like that. But the same could be said, somebody who has not seen the ocean of salt water, the same could be told to that person. How do you believe that? But somebody put the salt into the water so that the water remains, the salt has the property to preserve the water. If we keep water stagnated, it gets rotten. But with salt, gets preserved. Isn't it? So God is so intelligent, He put so much salt to preserve the water of the ocean. And He has made all the arrangements so that the sun will evaporate that water without the salt, and then water our fields so that we can get the food that we are eating. So this is God's mercy. So as there is a place of where there is, like we have in this planet, there is an ocean of salty water. In another part of the universe, there is an ocean of milk. But it's not with salt. Milk with salt is not good. It is with sugar, like kheer, very sweet, very tasty. And the sugar preserves the milk, isn't it? Makes it much better, like burfi or pera. It's very well preserved, isn't it? So, anyway, the Devatas approach, what happened is that Bhumi, the earth planet, was being ruled by very materialistic people. As we have nowadays also, materialism is very much spread in today's world. Even we find that even in Bharat Bhumi, there is so much materialism nowadays, isn't it? So much mundane propaganda and mundane activities are systematically promoted by the government. But the duty of the governments is to promote Dharma. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo vidu. This knowledge of the Gita was communicated through parampara, and it was meant for the Raja Rishis, for the kings, for the rulers, so that they will give it to the people, for the benefit of the people. So, going back to the lila we have in this picture, is that the Devatas, together with the deity of the earth, Bhumi Devi, approach the Svetatweep, which is the place of residence of Vishnu. In the Kshirodakashayi, it's not known as Kshirodakashayi Vishnu because he is lying in Yoga Nidra in that divine abode, this ocean of milk. And they were asking him, please help us. The earth planet is suffering so much adharma is there. What can we do? Please help us. Please tell us what to do. And then the Lord, within the heart of Brahma, the Mahadeva creator of the universe, Tenne Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye, the Lord revealed the knowledge to Brahma and told him, do not worry, all of you get ready and take birth in the dynasty of the Yadus. You take birth with the Yadus, and I will come personally as Sri Krishna. I will take birth and I will establish Dharma. I will kill Kamsa, the monster. He was a monster actually, Kamsa. He was really a monster, very bad person, abusing all kinds of people. I will kill Kamsa and I will reestablish Dharma. And here we see, this is the occasion, many of you will be familiar with the Lila, when Kamsa tries to kill Srimati Devaki, Krishna's mother in Mathura, and Vasudev, Krishna's father, is trying to convince Kamsa not to kill Devaki. Devaki was connected, was one of the sister cousin to Kamsa. And Kamsa was actually taking Devaki to her new house. This was the time of the wedding. Can you imagine in the middle of a wedding trying to kill the bride? I mean, it's crazy, and it's totally very bad person. Only a very bad person can do that. But what happened, there was an omen when he was driving the chariot. There was an omen from the sky. A voice said, Kamsa, you are a fool. You are driving the chariot of your sister, but you don't know that the 8th child of your sister will kill you. Kamsa became very scared, and he was accustomed to react with violence. He was not a yogi. Yogis or good people, the first reaction is ahimsa, non-violence. But Kamsa's first reaction was himsa, violence. That's the difference between a virtuous person